Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Casually Fit Podcast. This is episode 41. I appreciate everybody for stopping by. It is Wednesday morning. If you're listening to this right away, get excited. I'm pumped up. Hey, it's the middle of the week, right? It's almost a weekend. Summertime is here. The sun is coming out. Not so much in San Diego right now, but you know, the idea is there. At least it's a little bit warmer. But yes, I first off want to say apologizing. I want to apologize for, of course, going to mess up the first couple sentences of this podcast. But I just want to apologize for missing last week's episode. Going forward, I'm going to try to mitigate that as much as I can. But hey, sometimes that's what's going to happen. But I am here today, and I want to start this podcast off this week with a quote. Now, this is more than likely a quote that you have heard before, but I like it. I want to get into it just a little bit. And I also have, of course, a Fit Fighter of the Week this week. Show you somebody who's lost, I believe, over about a couple 100 pounds this week. Also going to give you a couple tips for fitness and also your diet. And end off the podcast with the Fit Freak of the Week. Get you pumped, get you ready to go, and get you out of here. It's going to be it's going to be a medium podcast, right? It's not going to be too long. It's not going to be too short. But let's get into it. So, moving on to the quote, starting now. Pain is temporary. It may last a minute or an hour or a day or a year, but eventually it will subside and something else will take its place. If I quit, however, it lasts forever. And that is by Lance Armstrong. Boom. You know what I just realized? I just put up a controversial person as a quote. Hey, you know, on the juice, off the juice. I mean, he did great things. He pedaled pretty fast. Now, could other people have pedaled faster than him? I'm not sure. I'd have to look at how far ahead of the pack he was. But word on the street, everybody's juicing. But I don't know. All I know is that that's a pretty good quote, right? Sidetracked a little bit. And I think it's a good quote, especially for working out. And especially for anybody who is trying to work out, anybody who's in the beginning stages of trying to work out. I mean, the pain is temporary part of this quote. I mean, you have to have that kind of ingrained in your mind. And you also have to have the idea, which is the rest of this quote, that it's going to eventually subside, right? It's not going to be pain, you know, as intense of pain that you're having in the first couple weeks, dealing with soreness, dealing with, you know, just trying to get through the repetitions and the sets and doing all these weird exercises. You know, you have to know that on the other end of that, it's going to pay off. And all that pain, not really all of the pain, but your body's going to start getting used to it, getting kind of acclimated to exercising, and that pain will go away. But for sure, I know full well, myself and seen it in many people, right? That pain when you first start working out, that is intense, right? That, you know, if you're not moving around that much and all of a sudden you're trying to do box jumps or whatever, you shouldn't be doing that. But if you are, I'm not going to get into why you shouldn't be doing it. But if you are doing it, right, it can get painful once you're trying to do a few of them. Or if you're just trying to do some air squats, right? If you do a whole bunch of air squats, I mean, it's going to be hard for you to do it the next day, especially if 2 weeks ago you didn't even know what an air squat was and you had no intention of ever doing it. So I think you should take this quote to heart, no matter you're standing with the old Lance Armstrong, all right? Maybe if you super begrudge the guy, which I can't believe I didn't think about it before I picked this quote, but a lot of people begrudge the fact that he was rolling dirty, as they say. But again, it is a good quote. And also the end of the quote, you know, if I quit, you know, however it lasts forever. Is that the full, if I quit, however, yeah. So the pain that he will have if he quits will last forever. And I think that kind of, I mean, he's not talking about, you know, weight loss or anything like that, as far as I know. But I mean, that kind of goes along in lines with weight loss. Like if you try to lose weight, you start getting into the gym, trying to burn some more calories to help out your caloric deficit. And you start going through that pain, like I said, over some time, it's going to start subsiding once your body gets used to it. If you're very far out of shape, this could take a while, whatever, but it will subside and the pain will just transform into something else. Now, this is what really caught my eye with this quote. If you decide to stop, if you start working out and then you decide to stop working out and stop trying to lose weight, that pain will last forever. And based off the data that we have so far, it will 100% for sure last. And not only will the pain that you have currently keep on going, whatever ailments you have, but they will also get worse. They'll be exacerbated by a sedentary lifestyle and not exercising and not going through that whole pain cycle. So I think, if you're somebody who's just starting to work out, use this quote, have it kind of burned into your brain that the temporary pain you feel in the beginning months of exercising, that pain will start to dwindle, right? And then also, if you decide to go through a little bit of pain to try to lose weight, and then you say this pain's too much and you stop, right? You feel a little comfortable. Well, what's going to happen after that is a whole bunch of complications are going to arise. You could be placed in an unfavorable category on the BMI index, which shout out to the video I just released if you want to check it out. Dangers of Being Obese Part 1. I'm going to do multiple part series on this. And yeah, so it's just a quick shout out. And that is a quote. All right. So hopefully you like it. Let's move into the Fit Fighter of the Week, right? Every week I want to bring you somebody who is just out there doing the things that I'm talking about, pushing through the pain that they feel or that they have felt trying to lose weight. Now, I love people who are just starting. I hope the people who are listening to this podcast are those people, the ones who are just starting off. But I also like people all along the spectrum, especially people who have already lopped off, as they say, a couple 100 pounds and have already gone through several days, weeks, months, possibly years of trying to completely transform their body. And subsequently, it almost always transforms the rest of their life. So I love those people as well, which is why today I am bringing you Megan. If you go to maintaining_Megan on IG, let me give her a follow. I always don't do that. If you go there, you will find her profile and you will see that she has lost 200 pounds in 15 months naturally. All right, that is a good chunk. She used to weigh 351 pounds and she now weighs 146 pounds. That's crazy. We gotta get a little clap there. Whatever you're doing, you're driving right now, you're walking down the street, just stop. It doesn't matter if you're on the freeway, just hit the brakes, start clapping. Start clapping for Megan because she is clearly killing it. If you're watching this podcast, you will already see the before and after pictures. As with most of the fit fighters that I show you, I'm not bringing you somebody who's not talking about their weight loss journey. I want to bring you these people so you can get some little tidbits of information from them so you can kind of see what lies ahead. So hopefully you fare a better chance of actually succeeding at losing weight. Megan is no different. She will show you her before and after pictures, and she will give you all the insights into her journey thus far. And again, 15 months, that's insane. 2018, if you're looking at it, the two people on the screen right here, completely different. Like, they look completely different. It's also a profile shot. It's two different angles. So, okay, it's kind of a bad picture setup. But if you look at the person on the right, the Megan of today, again, your mind would be blown to think that this person weighed 200 pounds more. You'd be like, what? You used to weigh 200 more pounds than you do right now? You used to be 351 pounds? And that seems amazing. And that's an accomplishment for Megan. Now, put it back to where you're at right now. If you're just starting out to lose weight, it seems impossible to lose the 200 pounds, right? For most people, when they're like, I weigh 350 pounds and I got to get down to 150 pounds, I got to drop these 2 hundos right here. That seems impossible. And it's almost seems rational to think that it's impossible. That's a lot of weight. And that's why I show you the Fit Fighter of the Week. That's why we got Megan here going from a Capri size 28 to a Capri size Quattro, number 4. So that's exciting. That gets me pumped up. And again, hopefully I want to show you these people so you can jump into their profile, bug them, DM them if you want. I don't know what Megan's got going on, but I'm sure she wouldn't mind some DMs, if you're praising her or if you're trying to get some advice. If you're trying to get some advice, maybe praise her first and then slide in the advice. Either way, I think Megan will welcome it. But yeah, so she's a Fit Fighter of the Week, and you can just cruise her profile. And again, she's killing it. Absolutely, especially this picture right here. I mean, absolutely killing it. And for me, I'm a more natural way is the best way, I think. I do understand surgeries and other methods that might be more viable for certain people. But I will always, applaud anybody who does it the natural way. And I didn't look into this too much, but when I hear natural way, to me, that means eating healthy, eating less, and exercising. And now it looks like she said former sugar addict turned keto/OMAD. I don't know what OMAD is. And now devours carbs. All right. So she's intense. But yeah, so go. But yes, I'm pumped that she did it the natural way. So that's great. So yeah, go check her out. Got it linked down in the description box if you're too lazy to open up the Instagram. But yeah, let her know what's up. But let's move on to this week. I want to move on to first is let me do the exercising first. So just a quick tip for fitness, right? If you're trying to lose weight, you got a lot of things you got to focus on, right? And if you watch this podcast or you listen to this podcast at all, or if you watch any of the videos I release on Monday at like 6 a.m. every Monday, go ahead, check those out. But if you listen to this at all, you will, I forgot where I got distracted that I was plugging you my Monday videos. I was like, why are you doing that, Rob? Why even say it? There's no point to. And, it came out of my mouth anyways. And I lost track and completely off track. I'm not even going to try to, all right? That's my punishment right now. Unfortunately, I'm punishing you as well if you're following what I was saying. But let me get back into it, right? So, again, this is just a quick fitness tip for you. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of things that go on with weight loss, right? There's a whole bunch of things: diet, exercising, calories, caloric deficit, the types of food that you need to be eating, the exercises you need to do, all that stuff, right? Well, one thing that I think that everybody should be doing is a kind of like a low medium to medium high cardio, right? So it's not so low that it's all basically null, like you're not really doing anything. But it also shouldn't be too intense of a cardio. And then that can ratchet up all the way up to high if you want. But I would suggest to kind of stay in between. If I was to put it in a percentage, staying somewhere between some days 35% to upwards of 80% of your ability to do that for your cardio routine. Now, I think everybody needs this. Now, the reason why I say such a low number, 35% to about 80%, is because it seems that a lot of people who are trying to lose weight, they just think that they got to go in there and they got to pound it in, right? They got to hit the ground running, and all of a sudden they're on they weigh 350 pounds and they're trying to sprint on a treadmill. To me, that doesn't make sense. That has injury written all over it, and it doesn't seem sustainable at all. And I think when that's played out in the real world, it pretty much isn't sustainable, and people do injure themselves, and it's just overall not good. But a bunch of people do it, and all good to them. I mean, you get excited, you get pumped up, you want to lose some weight. Hey, if you find yourself sprinting on a treadmill, whatever. I've done it before. I've done it where I was out of shape, and all of a sudden I'm sprinting on a treadmill, dying, like barely able to breathe, just hoping, kind of looking around, thinking, I hope that these personal trainers are trained to revive me right now. Clearly doing things I shouldn't be doing, then get off the treadmill. All of a sudden my legs don't work for another week, and then just throws you off. And so I just see that happens. And so I believe there are people who try to do that, right? Which again, it's great. It's just, use that energy in a different way. Like what I'm saying, don't go so intense. But I also see some people kind of push away from it. They think that is how it has to be, that everything has to be that intense. And it just simply does not have to be that intense, especially if you're just beginning. And I know it's kind of like an ego check for some people, but you really got to push your ego aside, right? If you're trying to lose weight, do not be afraid to go, like, for example, do not be afraid at all. There should be no qualms at all for you to say one day, who cares what time it is? It could be noon, right? It could be a Saturday and noon, and you woke up at 11:15 on Saturday and you decided to go to the gym. Who cares? And you decided to only go to the gym to sit down on one of those like recliner bikes and then just bump it up to like a level 5 out of 20, I think it goes, and then just go on there for 10 minutes. You should have no qualms about that. Sure, you only spent 10 minutes on it, right? And it was only at a 5 when it can go up to 20. But that's just where you're at, right? You could have been dying after that 10 minutes. A lot of people would be dying after that 10 minutes just on it. But that is where you at, and you have to build up from somewhere, right? And you can't sit outside, or you can't sit on the sidelines looking in like, well, I want to do that, but I don't want to go that hard, so I'm just not going to do it. My suggestion is to just go in and just aim for, as long as you have to, aim for that 30-40%, right? And over time, if you have the growth mindset, you go, yes, this is where I'm at right now, but this is all building up to something else. This is all building up so I can jump on here, put it at like a level 12 or something, and stay on here for 45 to 60 minutes, right? If you have that whole timeline in your mind, then I believe that's just going to help you out, right? It's instead of going in there and kind of going intense for a while and then petering out at some point and then just kind of turning your back towards fitness, which I think that's that intense kind of workout straight from the beginning. For some people just doesn't work. For most people it doesn't work, but most people try it, which is kind of crazy. Most people, again, the statistic, most people try to lose weight, don't succeed, right? And the ways that they try to lose weight is this intense stuff. Again, people get excited. I get excited. And if you find yourself sprinting on that treadmill, whatever, right? But just know that, well, here's an example, right? What if you do go and jump on that treadmill and you go sprinting for that one time, but then realistically you don't see yourself actually doing that again for like another week and a half because you don't think that you're going to have the energy or whatever to be able to do that for like another 2 weeks or something like that. Well, in between that time, you should be jumping on some sort of cardio machine and going 40%, hopefully 80%. But hey, if you got to go in there some days 40%, go in there at 40% and stay on there for a little bit. Go 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. With all these cardio machines, you should be pushing yourself 20 plus, 30 plus minutes. And if you have a job where most of the time you're sitting, and if you kind of look back or zoom out away from your life and you realize you do sit a lot, whether at work, in your car, when you get home off of work, maybe you should be doing more cardio. No, honestly, maybe you should be doing cardio twice a day. Maybe you got to go to the gym twice a day. But what you do need to do for sure is making sure that you do some sort of cardio, right? And if sprinting, going intense, doing the battle ropes, is that what they call it? The battle ropes? I think that, to me, that's like a hype thing. The swinging of the ropes, like, I'll have to try it. I haven't tried it in forever. It just seems like a weird kind of like hype workout, I guess. Maybe that's just me, clearly, because the more I think about it, I'm like, that is probably a pretty good cardio workout. But if you're trying to lose weight, I don't think that is a workout that you need to be worrying about right now. Especially if you're just starting off and you gotta try to get down 200 pounds, stay away from the battle rope, stay away from all that crazy stuff. Just jump in there, jump on the recliner bike. I don't know the name of it. The recliner bike, jump on the regular bike if you can. Jump on the elliptical, Stairmaster, treadmill. Just walk on the treadmill, right? Maybe walk and then take a 10-minute break and then go walk again. Maybe jog. If you feel like jogging, jog, right? But if you're just starting, don't expect yourself to be doing all these crazy things. Like, don't go in there and look around at all these other people who are on their cardio machines, sweating a lake underneath them and just going ham on everything. Don't compare yourself to those people. Just go in there and do as much as you can do. And if that means that you can only stay on there for 10 minutes at a level 5, who cares, right? You're trying to lose weight. This is about you. I'm not for this selfishness at all, right? The more self-absorbed people that are out there in the world, I think, that's bad. And clearly, there are a lot that are running around our streets. But when it comes to you losing weight and being in the gym, that's all about you, okay? So don't worry about other people that are in there. Just go in there, get some work done. And that's the tip, right? So just jump in there, do low-level cardio, and just build off of that. But that is for sure one thing that you're going to need to do for weight loss, because, it's one thing, the low-level cardio, you're still getting a great workout in. You're still building strength. You're still working out your heart. You're working out your lungs. You're practicing on how to breathe when your heart rate starts going up. So that's great, right? And you're also burning calories. And yes, if you go in there and you go intense and you go insane, you are going to burn a lot of calories in a short amount of time. And again, so that's why I don't think that you should never do it, but I think that you should, if that's deterring you, then you need to get in there and do less, and then build up to be able to go intense, and then still have like a general mix. Maybe like once or twice a week you go super intense, and the rest of the week you're going somewhere in the 40 to 80% range. Or even that could be every 2 weeks. Within a 2-week time frame, you're only going intense once or twice, and the rest of the time it's 40 to 80%. For myself, I go, I wouldn't be a good example. I'm starting to think. I do go intense several times a week, so in different areas. But then you will also see me, on days after I go intense, you'll see me out. I'll jump on that recliner bike and I'll go on it for like 20 minutes at like a 10, which is like chill for me. I have no problem with that. I have no problem jumping over to an incline bench and starting off with 25 pounds on each side. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't care if the guy next to me is stacking 45 plates onto each side. like they're freaking onion rings or something like that. Like, I don't care. They do what they do, and I'm going to do what I'm doing. And you should be doing what you're doing and not worry about the people that are in the gym. And I know that that is a big issue for a lot of people who are trying to lose weight. You look around at all these people in the gym, you start comparing yourself, you start feeling less than. It's just not good. So hopefully, if that has been you, hopefully maybe you'll slowly start pulling away from that. But yeah, either way, so that's the fitness tip. Next up is the diet tip. I didn't write down the diet tip, so I am stalling right now to make sure that I can remember what the diet tip was. Oh, quick tip on diet. This is very quick tip on diet. If you want to start eating less, if you want to start eating healthier, start reading more about food. Start reading more specifically. I think probably the best way to do it is to point out all the bad food. Just zoom out and think about what you've been eating over the past couple days, week, or whatever. If you haven't been on a diet, think about those foods and maybe start looking at those foods online. Like, hey, what happens if you have too many Hostess Swiss cakes, right? Those are great. I love them. But what happens if you have too many of them? How much sugar is in a Swiss cake? How much sugar is in that, right? I think that if you're trying to lose weight and you're trying to change your eating habits, one of the best ways to do it is to increase your knowledge base about food and what it does to your body. So, everybody talks about going down a rabbit hole on YouTube's or the interwebs or whatever, Reddit, whatever you do. And rabbit holes are fun. They're a great time, but some people go down the weird, crazy rabbit holes, the conspiracy theory rabbit holes, the alien rabbit holes, the all kinds of stuff, right? Which again, those are still fun. The lizard people, you ever look into people who think lizard people are real? Or do you ever look into people who think the earth is actually flat? Those rabbit holes are great. And they're exciting. Well, try to get into your own little rabbit hole, but just around food and what it does. Again, a quick line of questioning that you should have is, again, is Swiss cakes or whatever food you choose, is Swiss cakes bad for you, right? Google it. Why is it bad for you? Google it, right? What's inside of it? Oh, there's 100 grams of sugar inside of it. How much sugar should I be eating? Oh, I should only be having like 25 grams of sugar. So I'm getting 75 grams of sugar extra just in this one thing. Well, what happens to my body if I have too much sugar over a consistent period of time, right? Start looking into these things because then you're going to connect all this bad stuff to the bad food. Right now, for most people, right, the bad food is just, it's bad, but you don't know necessarily how bad it is. And you kind of weigh the deliciousness of it and the desire to have it much higher than you weigh the understanding of it. And so to combat that kind of inner human nature to like just want the sugar, right? You just want as much sugar as possible. Or you just want the delicious salted caramel freaking ice cream or whatever it is that you want from Salt and Straw. How many words can I say with salt? To combat that, I think the knowledge base is just going to be the best way to do it, right? Knowing is way much better than not knowing, especially when it comes to trying to lose weight and trying to find areas that you need to cut out, right? It's not going to be comfortable, to be honest, because then once you realize how bad food really is, and then you think to yourself, oh, I've been eating this for the past 20 years. No wonder I got to deal with this problem right now. And so that could possibly make you feel bad. So just beware of that. But that's also possibly part of the process for you to be able to push away bad food. because it really is not good for us. It's not, I mean, it's so hard to say all the things that it's not good for, but I mean, it really, like food, it's amazing how much food is out there that doesn't actually benefit our body, overall benefit our body, hands down. It doesn't do us really any good at all. But we have it all over the place, and it's something that we got to deal with. So just, schooling up on that. I think there's a good Netflix documentary. I think it might be sugar. There's a couple documentaries on Netflix about sugar. I can't remember any of them being bad, so maybe watch all of them. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like the same thing with vegan people, right? Or people who are against any sort of animal killing. Like, these people were somewhat, well, I'll be generous. Let's say that these militant vegan people were at one point very non-assuming, very innocent kind of people, which again, they all are. Oh, let's say that they were all rational people at one point. I would like to think that. I give them that, sure. Let's say that they were rational people at one point. But then they went on some crazy little rabbit hole on YouTube, and all of a sudden they're watching animals being just, horrific things happening to them. And then they go, nope, I can't eat meat anymore. And then they put the vegan sticker on their bumper. They got the vegan shirt. They get the dreads. And all of a sudden they're that, right? And they became that because they became more aware of what was going on. And I do not suggest going to that extreme, but you do have to become more aware of the food that's going into your mouth and the food that used to go into your mouth. So you can kind of, you can dip in and eat the cake every once in a while, right? I'm not saying to completely exit out of your life, but you do need to distance yourself a little bit. And if you're having trouble distancing yourself, knowing how bad it is makes it a lot better. Like, what if you're supposed to separate from your boyfriend, right? And you're like, no, I don't need to separate from my boyfriend. But then you find out that he's been cheating on you. Wouldn't it be easier to kind of separate yourself after that? So that's kind of what I'm talking about, right? But that's a diet tip for this week. Like I said, moving right along this week. Now we're into the Fit Freak of the Week. Her name is Kaylee Foyle, and you can go to K-Foyle Fitness on Instagram. Now, this lady, you go on here and you're going to see a bunch of kettlebells being pushed up into the air. You're going to see some swings. And Kaylee is possibly sponsored by Onnit, great company. But she really embodies kind of this, I don't know what the right word for it is, this new age kind of working out. You got kettlebells. You're not really doing a bunch of machines. She's not doing bench press. She's not really doing, she's doing toning stuff, but she's also getting a good workout in. This would be more like a toning thing, but she is in here absolutely killing it, right? Doing these jumps. So if you're looking for somebody to follow and to get some great insight, maybe get some workouts, she has some workouts for you right here as well. It's working out for Kaylee. So she is the Fit Freak of the Week. Again, I always like people who are strong and athletic. And Kaylee is strong and athletic, which is why she is the Fit Freak of the Week. And of course, I can't show you all of her other pictures because once you're on Instagram, gets a little feisty on here. So, go to her Instagram if you want to see all that. But yeah, she's a Fit Freak of the Week. Go check her out. Other than that, I believe that's this episode. Like I said, this is a medium podcast this week, about 30, 40 minutes. It's about exactly how long I want it to go. Let me know what's up. Yeah, if you are listening to this, comment wherever you're listening on what you like, what you don't like about this podcast. I'm trying to, trying to make it better. I'm trying to spend more time on it. And I really want it to be something that, something that people who are trying to lose weight can listen to, hopefully get some inspiration, some little bit of information, and then move on about your day and hopefully apply it. So let me know in the comments section how far away I am from doing that. I know it's kind of far away, but I'm trying to get better. Other than that, for me, I'm chilling. Went surfing today. Had a good time surfing. My back it's holding up, but I have been going pretty hard on my back lately. So got a little bit of pain to deal with, but just some bumps and bruises along the way. Still gonna go surfing again tomorrow. So everything it's going pretty good. But yeah, other than that, that's it. If you are listening to this and you really do listen to this, I will be writing a book. So look out for that here probably in the next year sometime. I'm hoping the videos do not take a hit because I'm trying to write this book. I'm trying to be able to do all of it, which it's a lot to do. So some days the podcast might not go up, right? Some days I might not be releasing on Monday. I'm going to try to make those as limited as possible, and to really, if it does happen, to never go over like a week. Maybe miss a week, but not miss like 2 weeks. So if you ever don't see either the video on Monday or the video on Wednesday, just know that the next following week they'll be back up. So, but yeah, other than that, that's the podcast. I probably just ruined the sound playing with this thing that I found underneath my keyboard. And that just shows that my attention is gone. So thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. It's the Casually Fit Podcast, episode 41. Have a good day.